Wouldn't it be wonderful if your horse could communicate to you how and when to challenge him? Generally, a horse's only means of communicating that he feels fearful and out of control is to become reactive, putting both you and himself in emotional and physical danger. As with many aspects of positive reinforcement training, this problem can be addressed with targeting.
After your horse understands the basic principle of targeting by touching an object with his nose, you can introduce him to the idea of an initiator signal. An initiator signal is a cue that your horse gives you to let you know that he is ready for you to raise the criteria of the behavior that you're training. Here we see an example of teaching a horse to be brushed without the use of an initiator. The trainer is doing a good job of building duration one stroke at a time. What's lacking is the critical piece of asking the horse's permission before each attempt. If we don't take the time to ask for permission, we could be missing crucial information about the mental and emotional state of the horse.
Each of the horses you will see in this video is a rescue horse and a very difficult horse to train. This is a 7-year-old standard-bred mare, learning to be saddled.
Becca's dancing is a natural reaction to this situation. The saddle often makes horses feel claustrophobic and nervous, making them want to move their feet. Do any of us really want our horses to have to feel this way? Now let's take a look at how we can use an initiator signal to work at a pace that keeps our horse in a calm, confident, learning frame of mind.
Before placing the pad on the horse's back, the trainer holds out her hand for the horse to touch. If the horse doesn't touch the trainer's hand, the trainer will not continue to ask for the behavior. She will go back to kindergarten, so to speak, or reduce her criteria to a level that enables the horse to be successful again. In order to help your horse be successful every step of the way, build duration 1 second at a time.
If your horse has to move their feet, either because of lack of understanding or nervousness, simply try the same number of seconds again, or reduce the number of seconds to a lower duration.
Here Becca becomes nervous and has to move her feet before the desired number of seconds is reached. Instead of punishing, the trainer just withholds the click and offers Becca another chance to push the initiator button. As you can see, simply because Becca didn't receive a treat for the last behavior, she now understands that keeping her feet still is a requirement to earn a click. She even thinks about moving and changes her mind.
Here we see an 11-year-old student get permission from a 14-year-old ex-stallion to engage in the colt-starting process.
The student holds out her hand as an invitation to the horse to begin a behavior that will earn him a treat. If the horse touches her hand, he's giving her permission to try to jump on his back. The student increases the time that she spends on the horse's back 1 second at a time. Because the duration is built sequentially, the horse understands what sort of commitment he's making when he goes to touch her hand.
Here we see another trainer engaged in the same process with the same horse. Despite the consistency in the use of the initiator signal, the change in handler is disconcerting to him and he is uncomfortable with the situation. Because the trainer is using the initiator and waiting patiently for him to tell her when he is ready, it's easy for her to pick up on these signals and not push him too hard. The horse touches the initiator, but then blocks her way back to his side, showing that he is interested in playing clicker games still, but is hoping that there's another game they can play instead.
Ultimately, the horse decides it's a safe enough risk and allows the trainer to jump on his back. The next go-around, he touches the initiator much more easily, and she quickly jumps on his back. Because the horse consciously allowed her onto his back, he does not react negatively. In fact, he awaits his treat enthusiastically.
Even when the criteria is upped, with the addition of a mounting block and the switch of handlers again, the horse maintains his enthusiasm and sensibility.
The initiator can also be used to despook a horse. The most common method for desensitizing a horse is to make a loud noise or sudden movement and do it continuously until the horse is finally able to stand still and relax. This approach is exhausting and stressful for horse and handler. With the use of the initiator, the horse chooses to participate, can let you know by his willingness or unwillingness to touch your hand whether or not the rate at which you're raising your criteria is fair to him. Here we see a pony clearly communicating to her handlers where she wants them to stand so that she'll feel able to try again.
Thanks to the clear two-way communication provided by the use of the initiator signal, novice handlers and rescue horses like you have seen in this video are able to enjoy successful and rewarding training sessions.